What's up, everybody? Today is September 15th, time cycle day, quad witching day, easy recap day. It's been 6 weeks since we started this. So we're going to jump into Easy's progress, recapping his trades, and then fine tuning his B grade setup. He has the A grade setup pretty much locked in laser. There'll probably still be a couple adjustments there, but we're gonna try to focus on the B grade and improve his B grade setup. So like that, he has two setups to trade, but we still recommend that he trades A grade setup, the A grade setup first before he takes a B grade setup. Um, Hopefully, he gives us some lessons from taking B grade setups and see what he's learned. But easy, it's been 6 weeks. How do you think you're doing? And, you know, do you think this process is helping you?
So yeah, hi everyone. Easy here. But you've been seeing so far, yeah, it's been 6 weeks, and of course, yeah, I'm gonna say this process is necessary. Like it's necessary because, like I've always said, I'm not a profitable trader yet, and then so far I'm learning so many techniques. Even though I may have, let's say, a general knowledge, it's just that right now I'm tweaking everything that I'm learning from you, from LasagnaCat, or even from Pete. Everybody who's talking, you're always picking up something from someone and then see if it's working. So far on my trades, before I started this process, my trades were a bit longer. I've used to take 30 minutes to an hour trades. Now I would say the time decreased to 30-minute tops. Reason that is, I noticed because of I'll say what my rules or my setup, I'm now entering in the direction of the trend. So therefore, I reach my target faster. So I'm spending less time in the market, or I'm spending less time in a trade, which means I'm taking less risk because I'm not swimming with the sharks.
Yeah, you're not
So
exposing
that's
yourself. That's awesome.
correct. Yeah, that one I noticed. I really like that. The second thing also that I did notice beside my trades or less longer, it's also my entries. That one so far, I'm not gonna say it's spot on, but I do catch myself taking a bad entry. Now that's what happened. Like maybe it's that little angel, that's on the side of your shoulder talking to you.
Yeah,
And then I'm like, I take an entry and then I'm like, hey, why did you take that entry? So I would, right away close the trade because I know I was just being impatient. So yeah, these are the two things that I noticed so far.
nice. Well, I'm glad to hear that it's working for you. We're just gonna keep pushing that limit and get you more consistent. Because once you got your A grade setup lasered in, your B grade setup lasered in, and you follow your rules, that's something that Lasagna Cat had to learn was following his rules. And I had to learn too, because Brandon would always say, "Hey, create some rules and then follow them." Because yeah, you can always create rules, but if you don't follow them, you're still gonna go back. You're still gonna go back to your old habits, your bad habits.
Yeah.
And that's why we say create rules, stick to them, but make sure your rules are correct. The last few weeks we've adjusted your rules a little bit, and I've seen your entries get more spot on. And I've seen your plays. You can call out plays now and get in with no hesitation and execute on the trade. So I have seen an improvement in your trades myself. Not even that,
Nice.
not only that, but also having the confidence to call out your trade. And that's what helps keep you in check. That's something that
Yeah.
Lasagna Cat used to say that helped him. And when he would talk himself through the trade, let's just say like this group wasn't here no more. You have to be able to talk yourself through that trade. Um, and I like that even for me, like me trying to help you laser in your trade has helped me with your setup, has helped me stay out of trouble, or even I'll even take a trade because I see your setup. So,
Nice.
once you go through this process, just like LasagnaCat, I've heard him say that, hey, I'm not putting words, hopefully I'm not putting words in your mouth. Um, that he wants to trade your setup because he has his setup now. Now he's learning your setup and you're slowly adding more setups to your tool belt. So
Yeah,
like
so like
what's that?
it's with Easy's rules becoming formed and I'm watching it happen, I'm seeing how the setup is consistent, and that's what made me want to learn his setup. So I'm learning it now, and I'm going to start trading it like maybe in a couple weeks after trading it on Sim.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. Because when someone's making those rules and you see how the rules apply to setup, you're like, oh yeah, now I see how that's replicable. Now that makes sense to me. And if it makes sense to me, and if I see that's replicable, that means that I can start testing it and playing it.
Nice. And the good thing is that it's not too far from your original setup,
Yeah.
using the moving averages.
Mhm.
And that's what I always try to tell the elite members is like we have Brandon's foundational moving average setup, fib setup, um, trend line setups, but we all have our own variation of that same setup, and seeing it from a different perspective, like seeing it from Easy's eyes or seeing it from your eyes, you kind of get a glance at a different, same kind of trading, but a different style. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but you're
I
Yeah, I
gonna,
mean,
mean,
if I can jump in on this one, I mean, like, yes, we are all using the same moving averages, and at the same time, I mean, most people do go long, and it's also good to have somebody, I'll say, going short, like you said, right? It helps keeps you out of trouble, because most of the time you'll only see, I'll say, the long setup, or you see them better. And then when I say, if ever I say, oh, me, I'm going short, and then it's gonna put you on your guard.
yep.
Maybe there's something you overlook or you didn't see properly. So this is what I like as well. And then when you guys are jumping long, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I see how they're going long, and I see why they're going long. So that little group that we have right now, yeah, this is gold. Like, this is very, very helpful.
And that's another thing. Like when you're going short, like I know that even though you say that you like to trade both sides, I think you're more of a short player. I've noticed that. You can see the shorts a lot better than I can. Because sometimes, even still, then I'm still getting used to shorting, right? I won't see a short, but you will because you'll see your setup. But me trying to help you with your setup, like lasering your setup, I'm starting to see the shorts a lot better. And that's why I'm saying that you're more of a short player, and I think you'd like to play more short plays than you do long plays.
Correct.
So
That's
I
why
think,
exactly as of this week, I decided I'm gonna show most. Well, not that I'm gonna show. I'm even gonna stop trading longs just to focus on the short, and then to get that thing, mastered.
yep,
I think
perfect.
that's what I'm gonna go for.
Yes, please do that because that's what helped Lasagna Cat. I knew he had his setup, but he focused on what he was gravitating to, which was long plays. So he can laser in long plays, but he can't see his setup going short. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lasagna Cat.
that's
Um,
true. And now I'm seeing how you do the how Easy needs to get the lower high, and then and then come back up for the pullback high after he's got the 10 over or under 50 cross. That's the play, right?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so in a sense, that looks like the one that I do, but like upside down.
Upside down. Okay.
Because I go long.
Yeah. 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 I know. um. Okay. Should we jump into my trades?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump into your first couple of trades. I know you took a lot of B grade trades this week, so let's see if you
Correct.
can show us some of those, and then yeah, we'll try to help you
Mhm.
correct those.
All right. Something too. Maybe like, yes. Adding some more rules onto the B trades, but as well, I wanted to have a C trade. The C trade, I know exactly what it is. I'll show it to you, and then you tell me what you think and how to how to play it.
Sure. Just keep in mind that the more setups you add,
Yeah.
you're you're gonna start to like, since your B and your A grade up are not like completely laser, you
Perfect.
might start to like get not like get overwhelmed, but like, you
Okay.
want to try to
Sure.
focus on one thing at a time
No
instead of
problem.
adding
In that case,
another
yeah, I
thing.
can scale back and then until it's
Yeah, like maybe
better
next week,
laser.
like keep track of that C grade,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe next week, I mean, we even this week you can let us see what your C grade is,
Okay.
but I would try to take it a little bit slower and like
Sure.
definitely like trade your A grade setup first. And if you don't see a B setup, but you see a C setup,
Mm-hmm.
trade them equally. You know what I'm saying? Like your B and your C is always your plan B.
Okay.
And first trade your A, and then you always have two different setups. Well, show me your setup once we get to it, and then
Yeah.
I'll tell you like, yeah, you can kind of add it to it as long as it complements your other setups. But if it's a completely different setup, like
Mm-hmm.
right now you're using moving averages, right? And if you tell me like, oh, I'm gonna go do the fib setup, I'll be like, whoa, 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 take it slow. Let's learn your A and B first, and then let's add your fib setup or whatever,
Got it.
whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, whatever the secret.
Hmm. Go for it.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, this week it was a big week. Well, it was a big week. Every second Monday I have to do payroll. So this Monday was payroll, and also there was a holiday to pay, so I didn't take much trade. I was watching the market. I remember that day. Brendan was there too, and that's when the stock market opened, and then I think it just dropped. Well, yeah, exactly. So it did that little move. I was watching for my B setup. I was trying to wait to see if I'm gonna get that little pullback high, but I didn't get it. So what happened is that it opened, and then after that it just dropped right there. So I remember I even said a comment on the chat, and then I said, "Oh, it sucked that there's no pullback for that move. I would have wanted to go short." And Brendan even said, "Don't worry, there's gonna be another trade." That's one of the things that he had said regarding that comment. Um, Even though I didn't see my setup, my B grade setup, I didn't also see my A grade setup. So out of boredom, I did take a trade. Unfortunately, I took a long, and then it was a loss for me. So I lost on that trade. Reason why I took it, it's because I see here that there was the 666. So price is coming down. It hit the 666. I'm like, okay, this is going to be resistance. I wanted to see confirmation on it. One of the things that I usually use for confirmation is that if you look right here, that candle, I think we call that a climax candle or something like that. So I was like, okay, so they're done selling. To me, that's what it means. So I'm like, okay, first of all, they're done selling, and then after that, price action should come back and then reclaim the 10 SMA and then keep going back up. So yeah, I took it there. I took the entry. I waited for that second green candle, and then I was hoping at least it's gonna hit the 200 and then even go to the 50 SMA, but unfortunately it went down. And then I just closed that trade. That was the only trade I took on that Monday.
Hmm.
That's that.
Yeah, one thing I noticed here is I know what you mean about the climax candle, the big red.
Yeah.
And I look for those too. I'm used to looking for those when it's the very last red candle. Um, because like to me, if it's the very last one, that means that it's that last big push of red volume that it needs to get to the support level. This one had a few more candles to get to the support level. It's just something I noticed just because I look at those a little bit differently. So it might be something to consider because the volume candles got small again once the that little bounce started happening.
Yeah.
Um, oh, and also if you were using a first leg pullback entry, then you wouldn't have taken this trade, you know, because
Yeah.
if you
Oh, okay.
yeah, if you'd waited for the first leg entry, because like you wouldn't have seen one here. Um, and then that would have been good because you would have needed like a really good pullback. Um, so once you start looking for those when going long, things like this won't really happen after that.
Yeah, especially when with the first leg pullback, you need to see a higher low.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? In this instance, I would have liked to see a higher low off the 10 SMA. So like right here, this red candle should have popped right here off the 10 SMA. The 10 SMA looked good on this
Mm-hmm.
pop. And what
Mm-hmm.
I mean it looks good is that it was flat. When you're going along, you want to try to see the 10 SMA either flat or pointing up when
Got
the
it.
pullback is occurring. Like in these three candles right here, pay attention to the 10 SMA. As you can see, and that being said, if your Ninja Trader moving averages are on default and you have not changed them, I recommend you change them from on bar close to on price change. When you
Yeah,
do
that's
that,
one of the thing I did. And yeah, I did that. I think yesterday or before that, I did. We were talking about it. I changed everything now, so
yeah,
all my moving RJs are now on price change.
when you do that, you'll see the moving average flap up and down as the price changes, which will help you dictate like, okay, like for instance, on this red candle, if it was down over here, you would have seen the 10 pointing down and you would have been like, okay, this is not going to be a pullback. It's going to drain. It's going to continue going further down than a pullback. If you see it flat or flapping up, you're probably thinking, okay, it's going to pull back, maybe lose the 10 a little bit and then loop it for a
Mhm.
continuation pop. If you see it pointing up, uh, or I mean, if you see it pointing down, then don't get in, right? But
Yeah.
another thing that I like to see when the 10 SMA is flat, I want to try to see the 50 not pointing down. And right here, you kind of see it pointing down a little bit still. You kind of want to see it
Can
like
you can
this.
you show me? Can you show me on the chart?
Um, Hold on, let me see if
I don't know if you have your annotation tool.
hold on, I can't. My tools are all jacked up. What the heck? I lost my
Sorry.
annotation too.
Ah, sorry. I am 75 cents away from passing one annoying prop account. 75 cents, for God's sake. That's why I laughed. I actually took this trade, two contracts. I put it, all I needed is like $80 or something in it. I put it literally there and then 75 cents. Oh my goodness.
you'll
Ah!
you'll get it. You'll get it tomorrow or on Monday.
Yeah, yeah. Monday.
Yeah.
Sorry
So
to interrupt you. Yeah.
no, you're good. Um, so the 10 SMA is like this. I want
Yeah,
to see the 50 either flattening out or pointing up. Usually you won't see it pointing up until price action busts through the 50.
correct.
But even this, because the blue line right here is your 50, right? This one?
The blue line, no, the blue line is my 100. The 50 is the red line.
Oh, the red line. Yeah, see
Yeah.
how steep it is?
Yeah.
I
Still
would
going
like to
down.
see it a little bit more like the 100,
Okay.
a little bit more flat. So like down here, when it's closer, it's probably going to start to do this, right? And then
Mhm.
the 10 SMA is probably going to flatten out right there and then start to point up. And then it would pull back and then pop up, pop up
And
to
break here.
the 50 and then pull back again to the 10 and then go up right here.
Okay.
But that's what, pay attention to that because sometimes this flattens out, right? The 10 flattens out, but the 50 is still steep down. And you're like, okay, it's probably just gonna go like this and go back down. The price action.
Correct.
And
Got
if
it.
the flatter it is, the more probability of it having a continuation pop where it'll go right here, pop the 10 and then go to the 50.
Okay. So it's the that curve. So it's paying more attention to the, like, I don't know how you call that, the slope of the
Yep.
moving averages.
Yep.
Okay.
Because you'll start to see it go
Understand.
like this. And then you'll start to see the 100 go like that too. You know,
Okay.
you'll slowly start to see them.
Mhm. Okay. In that case, well, that's it's not a trade that I don't think I'm gonna take that trade anymore because I'm like I said, I'm gonna try to focus much more on the short side instead of going long sometime. Just to laser one strategy first or one direction first before getting back into something else. I do have another question on that chart though. So on this one, is there any way I could have taken that trade? So I know there's no confirmation, there's no pullback high to the 10 SMA. Is there any, like, I don't know if you have something to mention regarding that? Because that one of the trade that I feel that I miss out whenever I see this trade happen.
To go in
Okay, I don't
short
know.
or to go in long?
Short, of course, short. I'm talking about like especially here, the fact that it break the 10 and then before the cross happened here, but the move started happening, 4 minutes prior.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't have got in anyway right here
You wouldn't? Okay.
because you have this right here as support. You see this big area right here?
Yeah.
So you don't know if you get in right here, is it worth it just to go down to here and pop? Plus you got all these
Okay.
moving averages that it can catch.
Yeah.
You
As
got
a
this one,
support.
you have this one, yeah, that one, and then you have this one.
Okay.
What you probably could have got in on is if it would have, if this little leg right here would have popped up to right there to your 10. Because I've noticed that a lot. It'll pop down, it'll smash through all the moving averages, and then it'll pop up to the 10, and then
And
it'll
then
go down.
continue. Yeah.
Right here, it shies it, so it's a little bit,
A little bit
it's a little
iffy.
bit iffy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like I like to see it tag here or even the 50 up here before, before it goes down.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Perfect.
yeah,
Okay. Got it.
definitely you want to wait for a higher low. Like, and don't get in on the red side, like get on the on the upside.
We're talking what? Oh no. Are we talking long?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you were
like
talking
on this
short.
trade, like on this
Oh,
trade,
okay.
if you would
Okay.
have waited for the higher low off the 10, so it would have
Yeah.
bounced on the 10, and then you would have
Mhm.
got in on the green candle up, like the first green candle up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Perfect. Got it. Okay. But yeah, like I said, I won't trade long, so I'm gonna only focus on short. So I don't think you should see any long play for a while now. For a while. Um, Let me show you. So that was the trade that I took on Monday. Like I said, it's just one trade. I was way too busy to trade. Now let's go back. Close this. Close this. Gonna put this on this side. So this is Tuesday. Oh yeah, exactly. So this is Tuesday. On Tuesday, I took 2 trades. Yeah, exactly. So this is what happened on Tuesday. I took 2 trades. Here's my first trade. Wait, that's not Tuesday. The 11, the 12. Where's the 12? Where's the 12? Sorry, I opened the wrong one. Here's the 12. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's what happened. That's Tuesday. So first trade close. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm ready. So this is my trade that I took on Tuesday. I don't know if you guys there. Lasagna, Semper.
Oh
you
yeah,
took
Semper.
you took
I'm
them
here.
short,
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like I said, I only took one short this week. That was on Monday. After that, it's all short.
and this is on the 5 minute or 1 minute.
This is the
1 minute.
1 minute. Yeah.
Your entry could have been a little better on this first trade right here,
Yeah.
because you entered right here, right? Well, you would have kind of entered the same spot, but you want to enter
Below.
right here. It's hard because like you either should have entered here on this side.
Mhm.
because it popped there, or you could have entered. This is very choppy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you made it out, especially short.
Okay.
Your best entry
Um,
would have been over here at the break of the 50, right here, and your stop out right here. You'd have cut this down because it broke the 50 and the 10 SMA. Because
mhm.
right here you got the 10-50 cross, right?
Yeah.
But that's to the upside, so that's breaking one of your rules, right? Because the 10 over the
Yeah.
50
Yeah.
is over. You had this that's bullish. You had this that's bullish too. Right here, see how
Yeah.
it popped up?
Correct.
Yeah, you have the 666 there, and you're gonna get drawdown as long as you're acceptable with the drawdown on you. Because look at you, you entered here or way down here, and your drawdown was way up here. So if you were going short, you didn't wait for a lower high. There's no lower high right here. None of this. So you should add that to your rules is you want to see a lower high off the 10 SMA. And this does not show any lower highs. You're going
Got
up.
it.
You're going up with the momentum. So a lower high could have been right here. That would have been a better entry because it's lower than here, right?
Yeah.
So you could have entered right here, either on this candle, because you would have, remember, you want to one wick or one tick below the
Hmm.
pullback high. So you identify your high right here, right there. You identified it. So now you're waiting for one tick below the body. So any of these two candles right here, you could have entered right here.
Okay.
Because over
Um,
here,
uh,
there's no lower high. Over here, there's no lower high at all. So fine tune your rules to say that you want to see a lower high. And then if you're technically a better trade, so this would have been your B grade setup right here, or even right here. That could have been B or C setup.
mhm.
Over here is your A setup. But look at your A setup. Look at how easy it would have been
Yeah.
if you would have just waited a little bit.
Mhm.
LasagnaCat, you have anything to add?
Well, it's interesting. Like one thing that might have tricked me if I was looking for this setup, it's like, okay, you see the high, right? Like the high, and it's that doji um of the first high. Yeah, that doji right there.
Yeah.
So like there's a red candle, then a green candle, then a red candle. I might have mistaken the top of that second red candle as the pullback high. Like, and what I'm curious about is since I want to start playing these setups, is like, how come that's not the high or low? Because you don't know this stuff to the right of it is going to happen yet. You know, like December, do you think that that's just too close together for it to be a high or low?
What do you
Or
mean?
what?
Where over
So,
here?
um,
Right here?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, so the high is the doji, then the red, then the green. And so that's second red. I'm wondering, like, okay, if nothing else, since there wasn't anything else to the right, that might have looked like a lower high to me. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
It would
also,
have, but then look at where your entry is. And that's the hardest part is, okay,
Control
this is why
everything.
you need to have targets because like right here, my target would have been probably the 50, right? Because it's
mhm.
below the 10.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And now, is it worth it? Is it worth it to get in here? Is it like 3 points or 4 points? And that's all personal decision, you know, because you're gonna enter here because that's the first lower high, right? That is true. That is a lower high, and it pulled back to the 10. But is
Yeah.
it worth it to go down to here
Right.
Okay. Just to make that little move.
just to make that little move? Are you gonna
Yeah.
risk? What are you risking here? It looks like a 1-to-1 ratio right there. Risk
Yeah.
reward,
Mhm.
Yeah, it kind of does.
right?
But on this one, if I may say something, I know, I mean, if I remember, I think I knew that 4480 is a level. And then as well, I had the 666, just to confirm that it is a level. So I was like, okay, if it hit resistance, and as this candle were developing, like I was watching these candles, and then yeah, I think I was a bit too impatient there. I jumped in way too early because I didn't have the confirmation that it would have kept going, unfortunately. And second thing, like you said, what am I risking? A 1-to-1 ratio in this case? I don't think it was worth it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you don't want to. That's where you got to kind of do the math like really quick, like
Mm-hmm.
because this is happening pretty fast. Um, so you got to be like, okay, is this play worth it? Am I risking too much to make a little? And to me,
Yeah.
in my eyes, that's 1-to-1 ratio. So I would have called it off. Yes, there's a lower high. There's two, right? There's right here.
Mm-hmm.
But is it worth it? And that's the decision you got to make. If you're scalping 2 points, then yeah, it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
But know that that might come back against you. And it did. Look, you would have got stopped out here, or
Yeah.
because you would have put your stop right here. So you may have got stopped out, or you may have not. Because remember, hard open close. So that's a wick, and your stop is right here. If it was hard open close, it closed above it, but it opened below it. So
Yeah.
you may have not got stopped out, but if you have a definitive stop, like if you have a stop order right there, you would have got stopped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is an example of hard open close where it would have saved you from getting stopped out with the hard open close. But like I said, the 10 is over the 50 right here, right? And it's going up.
Yeah.
So you don't know if this is going to be a pullback low and continue going up. Probably
Correct.
not because the moving averages are not above the 666.
Mm-hmm.
But when the moving averages are all bunched up like this, really close, you have to be extra careful.
Okay. Can I just check on the 5 minute? Because I did save the
Yep.
5 minute too. So yeah. Okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, I took it more because you see the 5 minute, it is my, I'll call it my A grade setup on the 5 minute, because it did whatever I am, it went higher, but the moving averages, I have my 50 over my 10. So the cross happened here. And then usually this usually drop, like I said, on
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was because of my 5 minute that I did enter that trade. But
But on
on the
your
1 minute, maybe he wasn't the best entry.
yeah, it wasn't the best entry. Your best entry would have been over here. Right here, one tick with the stop right here. Right?
Yeah.
One tick below
Yeah.
this. One tick below this body right here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you would have got in right here. Because remember, you're getting in on the upside.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I got in on the upside on this one.
So if you take a look back on the 1 minute, it probably lines up with that dump.
This is
With
that.
this, it probably lines up with this dump. I'm not sure. That was at
This is
10,
what.
12, 25.
Yeah, that was my second trade. No, it's this one. It's this one. This is my first trade.
But where does it line up with the 5? So 940 looks like.
On the 5, yeah,
So
let's say
940.
940,
Yeah.
and then got
Yeah. So
out
it's
at
right here.
950. It's a 5 minute trade.
Yeah. So I would say a better trade would have been over here on this candle right here.
Yeah.
You would have got in and out on that candle, right? Because as soon as it hits your 10 SMA right here, you
Yeah,
get out
correct.
or lock in and then let some ride. But your trade was good. Your entry was a little bad, a little early.
Mm.
Well, can I see the 1 minute again, real quick?
Sure. This is the 1 minute.
Semper, did you already mention about the 50 RSI coming into the 50 SMA?
I didn't. Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So on this chart, I'm seeing that you bought you sold like when the 50 RSI, when the RSI was approaching the 50 from the upside. So that means support. And it wasn't too much space before it started to what you call it. We got the
But when I sold, wasn't it when the RSI was here? Yeah, it's around here. Yeah, it was around 70, the overheat level.
yeah. Oh, I see. That was the sell. Oh, that was good. Okay,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
so actually you bought at a good place. You bought like when it was closing at RSI.
Yeah, yeah. But
Like
I
you
mean, I
close.
don't, yeah. I mean, if anything, I think I may have looked at it. Oh, it's okay. It's approaching the overheat level or it's overheated. But yeah, I wasn't looking like to see if this was, closing in.
Yeah.
But
Like,
yeah, but then I close it there.
you know what? That's not so bad. I was looking at it the wrong way. Yeah, that's all right. My bad.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, do you see my yellow circle there?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure
Yes.
I just want to make sure my annotations work.
It works. It works.
Okay. All right, but my bad. You had it
Thanks.
right. I was looking at it the wrong way. All right. Way
All
to
right.
go. That's a good trade.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So okay, but yeah, like Semper said on this one, yeah, my entry could have been better. Like, but on the other hand, well, not that my entry could have been better. It just wouldn't have been a trade because the risk reward, yeah, it wouldn't be worth it. Yeah, it wouldn't have been worth it.
Yeah.
Like to wait from here and then just to go there. That's like what? That's 79. I got in at 79 and then I closed it at 77. That's 2 points. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was trading 4 contracts. I wanted to see whatever what it's like. But yeah. But yeah,
You
it's
want
not
to
yeah.
try to like, what do you usually catch? Do you usually catch like 4 or 5 points?
From 4 to 6, I usually catch.
So you wanna that's your risk reward, right? So 4 to 6. So you you risk 2 points to make 4 points, right?
Okay.
So that makes it one to
Yeah.
four. That makes it 1 to 2.
Okay. Oh
Um,
yeah, that's how you see it. Okay. That's okay. All right. I mean, I didn't see it that way before because like I told you, I always have a leeway of like the maximum three by 3 points I'll be out, but
well, then you're gonna have to try to catch 6.
6. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so that's how I should see it. If I'm risking maximum 3, then I have to wait for at least or maybe 6 point.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to get 6. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
lock in like half your position at 4 points and let
Okay.
the last two or the last 50% or 25% run
Mm-hmm.
to 6.
Okay.
So like that, you're locking in green, and you can't get red unless you let it go past your stop.
Yeah. Correct. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. And the second trade, if you wanna
Your second
comment on
trade,
it. Yeah,
your
because that was my
entry,
first trade.
your entry should have been like at the above of that wick, not down here. Good entry on the candle because look, this red candle is your pullback high, right? I don't know because I can't tell because of the price, but it does look like it.
Yeah. That is the
So it's like right
pullback.
there.
I mean, right before it. Yeah, right before it is the pullback high,
The
and
green
then
one.
after that, yeah, the green one right before it is the pullback high.
So remember, first thing in the first leg pullback is identify the pullback high or the pullback low. If you're going long, it's
Correct.
a pullback low. If you're going short, you want to identify the pullback high. Once you
Yeah.
identify the pullback high, you already have your pullback high right here, right? On that green one. So
Yeah. Correct.
you should have entered on that next red one right here. One tick break below that right there.
Really? I thought I had to wait for 2 red
No,
candle, like
nope.
No. Oh,
No, two red
darn it.
candles.
Okay.
It's just one tick below.
One tick
I mean, you
below.
could do 2 ticks, whatever you feel comfortable
Oh
with.
man. No, I'm like I've been missing some trades because I've been waiting on 2 red candle, like
Exactly.
to go in the direction of like you said, I have to go in the direction
Yeah.
of the trend. because this candle, I didn't know, like, let's say if I would have entered, I don't know if it's going to close red, that candle.
Yeah, you don't. That's the risk you're taking, but it's still
Oh,
a lower
yeah.
high.
Wow. Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, I always,
Huh.
let's say I was going short, I would go, so you got the pullback high candle. My
Yeah.
thought is to buy 2 ticks past the body.
Yep.
So yeah, so on this one on the way down, it would be 2 ticks below
Over here.
body of the pullback high.
And that all depends on how the candle develops, because you guys know that sometimes the candle it comes 2 ticks, but immediately gets sucked up, right?
Yeah.
But if it's 1 tick below and it's just holding right there, holding, it's not getting sucked up, then it
Mm-hmm.
might dump out.
Yeah.
But if if this candle went down to that moving average and then it got sucked right back up, that means
Yeah.
buyers are buying it up. It's just
And
like
would you
this
get
candle.
out right away on
No,
this
no,
one,
no, no.
or no?
No,
Okay, it's just saying.
I would have 2 stops. You can have 2 possible stops. One right
Mhm.
here, a tick or two above the pullback high, or a tick above over here, the 666. Right?
And what would make me choose one over the other?
That's your risk tolerance.
My restaurants, okay.
Can you handle up here? Like you had a cushion from this trade, so I'm sure you could have handled a little bit higher, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Not all the time will it be 1 tick above right here, unless you want a really tight stop, right? But if you stop out here, it's a reasonable stop, right? Because if it breaks out over here, it can go up, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's totally up to you. You can either do 1 tick right here, or if there's a moving average or a trend line level that's close by, then maybe do it right there. That's what I do sometimes is, okay, I did my grade A setup over here. I got a cushion. I got $1,000, $700, whatever. Now here's my second entry. Am I going to put it right there? No, I'm going to give it a little bit more breathing room so it can play out. So if you would have put it up here, look, you would have caught this whole move down.
Yeah.
And let's say
Okay.
you missed this. Let's say you missed this play. You're like, oh, fuck, there's my entry. I missed it. Well, look, there's another entry right here. So you could have put your stop right there and entered right here, or a break of the 50 and the 10. Those are 2
Okay.
acceptable entries.
Okay.
And then you would
But
have just wrote it down. You would have been like, fuck yeah, 10 minutes,
but
I
I
made
get
$1,000.
okay. But I honestly thought that I had to wait, let's say here, right? Like the price action here. Like, okay, it break below, pull back high, and then on the second red candle, I thought this would be the perfect entry here.
Where?
Like
No.
where exactly I put my mouse on that candle, on that second red candle.
You can. That's another pullback, because it is a pullback. See, here's pullback to the 10 SMA. That's your setup right
Okay.
there. That's your
All
B
right.
grade setup.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll have better entries for next
So
week for
that's
sure.
your B grade setup. Over here
Yeah,
is your A setup. Why is this your
that's
A
right.
setup? You got the
Because
10,
there's the cross.
the cross,
Yeah.
and a lower high off the 50.
Okay. That's interesting. That's okay. All right. Perfect. Well, I'm glad because yeah, like okay, my entry is gonna be more spot on now. Even
Yeah, I
more
hope so.
spot on. Yeah.
That
Like
you're
because I
gonna
was waiting
catch more
for two
points.
red candle. Yeah, well now I'm gonna catch more points. Finally. That's good. That's good. I like that. Okay. I'm happy now.
Hell yeah.
Um
Let's practice. Let's correct it and practice it next week.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna wait for two more red candle. Now I'm gonna see that. Okay, this is my pullback high. Just break that. Okay, so when you say break that candle, you guys said like what, 2, 3 tick below?
That's totally up to you. I usually use 1 tick, but
I use
sometimes
two.
it'll pop up against me.
Yeah.
I use two because a bunch of times I did it on one, and then the one it just dropped up below the one.
Yeah.
But that might be more because of the setup that I chose. But I do too. Just I don't know, on the safe side. I like seeing that little extra bit of momentum.
Yeah, to make sure that it's really going red.
Yeah, it's that
Okay.
little bit more confidence.
But then, okay, my whatever counter argument on this one. What happened if that candle turned out to be green? Like at the last second, like you said, it sucked up, and then it's green.
You have
But
your stop?
Yeah, of course you have your stop. I mean, as soon as you enter, yes, you have, let's say,
Well,
that stop right here.
then you stop out and then re-enter again on the next pullback.
Oh yeah, okay.
and also on that example, it's still just one tick.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, I wrote that down for that entry, so I don't have to wait on two red candle. Just one red candle is enough.
Yeah. Oh, and
Okay.
also
But
like
but but the cleaner the pullback, the
Mm-hmm.
the more probability. Like I like to see this kind of pullback. See how they're pulling back in its small body?
yeah.
Small body? Like this is kind of strong. Like especially with this one. There's not a big upper wick and there's no
Mm-hmm.
buyer wick. It's almost full body.
Okay.
Like that, I don't like to see. I like to see little red candle bodies like this. Hit the 10.
Yeah.
And if this green hammer would have, like, the body would have been down here with the wick down here, that would have been awesome entry right here, to go up to the 666.
Yeah.
But the cleaner the pullback, the more confident I have in the playing out. Like this is this is a pullback, but not really a pullback because see how it's choppy.
Yeah.
Red, red, green, green, red, and it's just whatever. This is like I like to see 3 or 2 little red. On this instance, short, I like to see green, 3 little green bars, and then one big red right here, and boom.
Okay. Okay. Wait. Let me just check the 5 minute. On the 5 minute, this is what it looked like. Yeah, I sold here. Yeah, I sold here, and then I cover on the 666, and then whatever. When it break the 666, that was my final target. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that trade on the 5 minute looks awesome, but you'll get more laser. You would have had a better entry. You would have probably got in at the top of that red candle
Which one?
right here. Yeah, right there.
Oh, right there. Okay.
Yeah, one tick
Oh,
below.
okay.
Boom.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So that was my trades on Wednesday. And then came Thursday. Thursday was a bloodbath for me. Wait, where is it? That was the 12. Wednesday was the 13. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the bloodbath that happened. I was like, oh my God.
Learn your lessons from these bloodbaths.
Yeah.
Learn your
um,
lessons.
roars. Wait, 13. That was the 13. I only have one picture on the 13. Oh no, I have two pictures. Well, okay, no, I only have this on the yeah. So this is my trades that happened on Thursday. It's that day that I was trying to go short, and then whenever I went short, it just went against me. Except the first trade, that was a good one. I mean, that was green, not a good one. That was green. It was
Yeah.
green on the first trade, so I went from green, and then after that to red, and then I was like, wow. So yeah, these are what happened there. On
That's your
here's
first good B grade setup right here. Because you didn't get your cross yet, but you got a lower
yeah,
high off the 10 right here.
correct. Yeah.
So that's a good B grade. Write it down to the 666. That's awesome. Look
Mm-hmm.
here's one trick that you probably could have got like you probably could have caught it all the way to here. Right? So if you get in right here, lock in 50% or 75% right here at your 666 at your first target. If you don't have a second target, let that motherfucker ride. Like, or maybe just like, usually what I'll do is say like, okay, from here to here it's 10 points. Okay, I'm gonna try to catch 15. So I'm gonna put a fishing order out right here, right, somewhere over here. But in case that doesn't work out, because it's kind of a bigger move, let me, once it hits here, let me attach a trail stop to the 10 SMA and offset it by 2 ticks or 4 ticks. I usually use 4 ticks.
Okay.
But you could use 2. 2's pretty good. Offset it and just let it ride. And you would have got stopped out right here on this green candle.
So when it reclaimed back the 10 SMA, it would have covered.
Yeah, you probably would have got stopped out on this doji right here, honestly.
Mm.
And look, you would have caught another 2 or 3 points or 4, I don't know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have hit your final target, but you still locked in a little bit more points. And then look, you're trying to get short when it's higher lows being created. Why would you get in short right there?
Because I thought that was my B grade. I was aiming for
No, that's not your B grade setup.
my B grade setup.
There's no lower high. Is there a lower high right here? There isn't. You
Yeah,
probably,
but that's why I said I did get confused because I thought as soon as it break the 10 SMA, yeah, exactly. I got confused on that day because it break the 10 SMA and then I'm like, okay, 2 red candle in a row, so it is going the right direction.
yeah.
So that's why I entered.
And this would have been a pullback high right here, but
But I would have gotten stopped out right after.
yeah, you would have got stopped out in the next 2 candles because your stop would have been like right here. You would have got stopped out right there. But hey, it's a tight stop. You had a cushion from over here. Yeah, you gave some money back, but let's reset. Okay, higher highs, higher lows. Remember, add that to your rules. If you're going long, you want to see higher lows. If you're going short, you want to see lower highs before getting in. Just like LasagnaCat, he has a rule right after a big dump, he wants to see 2 higher lows before even attempting to get in. I don't know if that's still his rule, but that's his rule.
Yeah.
Me, I want to see a pullback. So this is a higher low right here, right? But that's too small of a higher low. But that would be your B grade setup for a long.
And like these adjust a little bit over time. Now I'm able to take a first leg pullback and like one higher low instead of 2 if it involves a 666 support or double or triple support from other places, but it needs that.
Yep.
So that's you can make an alteration to your play as long as you apply a new small rule set to go with the adjustment.
But you're just fine tuning because remember, you always have to adapt. You always have to adapt to market. So you might have these rules, and then let's say this is a bear market, right? Or people are saying it's still a bear market. So your rules might change a little bit once we go into a bull market because the rules might not apply to a bull market. So then you're going to have to find, okay, what am I seeing a lot of on the bull market? Is it better to have 2 pullbacks instead of just 1? Is it better to have 2 in a bull market? And those are things that will come as we get into a bull market. Because Brandon and all of us have had to adapt because when we first started Elites, we were in a bull market and that was easy.
Yeah.
Now we're in a bear market and we had to adjust. And now he's adding other stuff, so we'll slowly get there.
Yeah. One of the question that I had on that trade, like I started taking some profit, whatever. I mean, I started like covering some as it was coming down.
Mhm.
I don't know, but like what I entered here at the 10 SMA, and then I started covering when it reached the 100 EMA.
Yeah.
My question is this too little, or should I have waited more before starting to cover a bit, or
That's up to you, but that's a reasonable lock-in profit.
okay.
So you want to take it in steps, right? So it breaks a 10, so where's it going to 50? It breaks a 50, where's it going to 100? If it breaks 100, where's it going to 200? If
Mhm.
it breaks the 100, the 200, where's it going to 666? So you could have locked in there, locked in one there, and locked one in
Yeah,
there.
okay.
But
Because
these,
my worry was, I mean, these moving averages, let's say we're so close together.
mhm,
Am I not just acquiring, fees
yeah,
instead of or something like that, or instead of just covering, either the whole position or most of it, and then just keep one ride?
yeah. Like this is strong. This is strength.
Mhm.
We had the bearish move right here, cross,
Yeah.
MACD cross, down.
Okay.
And then you had RSI right here first. So you got RSI, breaks a 10, then you got MACD. You know it's strong.
Yeah.
That full body red candle is strong. Let me see if it'll go down to the 666. Let me lock in. For sure, definitely lock in right here at 200,
Yeah.
right? Lock in there
Mhm.
for sure. If it breaks a 100, just keep your finger on the buy bid
Yeah.
just in case, it slingshots back up. But like over here, right? You got strong bodies right here, strong bodies. So you know it has room to smash through up.
Okay.
Once it starts going like this, you're like, okay, it's losing strength. The candles are getting smaller, losing strength. Okay, it's topping out right here. And now it just trades sideways.
Yeah.
But yeah, right here, good, good trade, bad trade. No lower high. If you were getting in long right here, that would have been a good trade because it's a pullback to the 10 SMA, higher low,
Mhm.
loop the 10. This is what a loop to 10 looks like. Because see how close it is to the 10? It can
Yeah.
loop it. Over here, the farther it is from the 10 SMA, the harder it is to loop it. And that
Okay.
goes with any moving average because sometimes it'll loop to 50.
Yeah. So the further it is from the moving average, the harder it is to loop it.
Mm-hmm.
So the more or whatever, the stronger is the direction that it's going.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'll remember that for I remember that one for sure. I have a question right here,
Yep.
here at this instance. On that trade, so yeah, I entered bam bam. So, yeah, you see what I was trying to say? That I usually waited for, okay, it breaks it, and then I wait on the two red candle. So that candle was red by the time that I entered it, and then it pushed back up and then it became green.
But where was your target?
This I was expecting everything to go down, honestly. So my target was again the 666.
Remember earlier today I said pay attention to the position or the direction of the moving average?
The slope, yeah.
Yeah, it's the perfect example. But
Mm-hmm.
look, right here is flat. It was coming down. So you're good right here, right? Because it's coming down. You're good. It's coming
Okay.
down. Now it starts to get flat. This 10 is strong, pointing almost straight up. So you
Okay.
know there's another leg up, right? Once you get the 1050 cross, look at how steep it is. Usually it's like this kind of cross right here. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just pretend that cross right there is like the 10 and the 50. It kind of gradually spreads, right? Right here, it looks like it immediately spread. Like it's almost like a T.
Okay.
So you know there's another leg up. So this pullback right here to the 200 or the 100 would have been perfect. You could have entered right here on this big green body and you could have rode it up. 5 points, whatever. When there's no target above me, I usually target 5 or 10 points. So I would have locked in right here and then just put a trail stop. And then would have got stopped out somewhere right here.
Okay.
Right? Over here, it's still pointing up. Right where you entered, right here, the 50 is still pointing up. Right?
Yeah,
the
correct.
10 is a little heavy,
Mhm.
but there's no lower high off the 10. There's this one, but it's like super small. And you want a clean pullback. You want a cleaner pullback. That's really tight, right? Now over here, this is where your entry should have been. Right here.
The reason that is because
You got the 1050 cross right here. Little fake out, right? You got a lower high right here. And it's cleaner. See how it has 3 little green bars? So you got identify your pullback high. Identify your pullback high. There it is. I'm entering right here.
that was that's what
Now,
that was when I give up that
and
day.
now this would be acceptable to enter down here at the break of the 10 and the 50. To go down here.
Yeah.
For possible to go back down here. But that won't happen. You know why? Why won't it come down
Because
to
these
the
moving
6s?
averages are flat.
They're slightly pointing up.
Oh, okay.
If they
Okay.
were flat, it would have a better
Yeah.
chance. It would have a better chance of going down.
Oh, okay. Because they're pointing up, that means they would better have a chance of acting as resistance.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
Yes. Or as support.
Yeah, as support. Yeah, I meant sorry. Okay.
Hey, Semper, I got a question for you about this chart.
What's up, dude?
So if you were, or I were, anybody trying to play this this pullback, right? To go long.
Yep. Where? Where? Sorry.
Oh, do you see the black line?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So if you wanted to play what you call it?
Long.
Yeah, long, and you wanted to use this pullback right here. So
Yep.
when you were saying that the further prices from the moving average, the harder it is to loop it.
Mm-hmm.
You mean if I was going long, the farther it would be like under where the circle
Yeah.
is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if it dipped down to like
that blue line
here, then
where?
exactly, then it would less likely loop.
Yes.
All right, cool.
And it would most likely create a lower high off the 10 and then bounce back to the 50.
Right. To go short.
Down. Yeah. Down.
Yeah. Sweet.
Okay.
Trying to get comfortable with these annotation drawings.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's good. Yeah, that's
like
good.
that everybody
That's
can see it.
Yeah.
All right. So that was my bloodbath on Thursday on Wednesday. Yeah, that was my bloodbath. Which was the 13. The 13. What else do I have? The hell? I can't even close my chart. I just want to check that one. Okay, that's the same thing I saved twice. And here's the 14, which was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was good based on what I see. Short, 1 win loss. Okay, short 14. I have 2 pictures. Yeah, okay, so I have 2 pictures for that day. Why do I have 2 pictures? Okay, so yeah, I think this was my first, this was my second trade. Yeah, this was my second trade. The other one is my first trade.
Yep.
Yeah, this is my first trade. Okay, so 1 minute. Oh yeah, and also I think something that I forgot to mention in the beginning. On Monday, I think I was trading the September while everybody else was trading the December. I think that's what happened. That's what also messed me up too. The 11, I just want to double confirm. No.
If you're gonna be trading using TOS,
Mm-hmm.
you want to have the charts match up.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
gonna be trading not using ES, it doesn't really matter when you roll them over.
Yeah. It's like I just got messed up on that day. Like I was, yeah, it was a heavy day. Um, so yeah, so this is Thursday, yesterday. Again, I was still playing with 4 contracts, and yeah, you see, so I waited for it to break, and I waited for the second red candle. That's where I usually make my entry. But yeah, I could have entered right here, even better. But unfortunately, I entered there. So this is my B setup. So we didn't have the cross, but then I was expecting it. And
Your
yeah,
your B grade setup should have been right here.
right there, because it made the pullback high.
Yep,
Yeah,
right there. But except that candle is too high for it to be your pullback. I mean, because you would have entered right here, right?
on
And then
that red candle here.
where are you gonna go to? You
Again,
can you can use that,
mhm.
and that's why I like to see, like I would have liked to see that as a wick up there, right? Instead of this one.
Really?
Because
Yeah, it's so high.
technically,
Okay.
this is your pullback high, right? Because it's the
Okay.
high of the pullback, way up here.
Okay. Yeah.
So if this body, I would have liked to see that body like at the most be that big to right here. And then you could have waited and then entered on this wick right here. But look, you're gonna have to weigh your risk reward. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But then
the
again, my target would have been the 666 on this one.
yeah. So if that's your target, then you could have got in here, your stop way up here, and it would have hit your 666 way down here, or even right here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That was, yeah. Um,
So it looks like you
yeah.
got stopped out on your second trade.
Second trade here. I don't
Yeah.
know. Here.
No. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't.
Yeah. It's here. Here.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you went short again,
Yeah. I went short again.
and then you closed a little bit there, and then closed completely out there.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought you were going long here,
No. Like I
and
said,
then
I
you
only
got
made one
stopped
long
out
trade
here.
and no more since Monday.
Uh, so this one, yeah, never mind. You got in over here.
Yeah.
So this one,
That's-
if you closed out here, you should have waited for a lower high, either off the 50 or off the 10. If you got a lower high off the 50, this would have been your entry.
Yeah. That's my A grade setup.
Yep, you got the cross
Mm-hmm.
right there and a lower high off the 50. You entered right here, somewhere in that area with the stop right here.
Okay. Question real quick then while you just did this. Because on this one, if I'm looking at it, this is the pullback high. Whatever. This is another green candle. If I'm going in the direction, I should have entered here, no?
No, this is your pullback high. Why is that doji your pullback high if this doji right here, this wick right here is higher than this?
Well, because this candle didn't develop yet. So,
Yeah, at
this
that
is
time,
green.
yeah.
Yeah.
If that candle wasn't there, remember you're waiting for a red candle.
Yeah. That is the red candle right here. This one.
So right here, you could have got in, but you would have got stopped out because it's a green candle.
Yeah. No, but I wouldn't have gotten in on that candle. I would have gotten on that candle here. That's red right here. This one.
But then it created a pullback high, so it resets it. Once you see
Okay. So
it
it,
create a pullback high, it resets it.
yeah. Okay.
So now
Oh
that's
yeah.
your
Wow.
pullback high. Remember, identify your pullback high.
Then it resets it. Okay. I do not know what that reset is. I don't know how that
Like
I don't know
reset,
how that works.
okay, reset. What I mean reset is, okay, this candle was not here, right? Let's act like that candle's not here.
Yeah.
So right now, this is your pullback high. This
Mm-hmm.
green candle is your pullback high,
Yeah.
right? So now you're waiting for a candle. Like this is a perfect first leg pullback setup. Remember I said
Mm-hmm.
2 to 3 green bars.
Yeah.
Identify your pullback high. If it's red, it doesn't matter. If it's red, it's even better because it's showing momentum to the short side. If it would have been
Correct.
green, it's still a little bit iffy, but the red going short is even more in your favor, right? So this is not here, right? That's your pullback high.
Mm-hmm.
So you're already thinking, okay, I'm going to stop at one right here and I'm going to enter one tick below there, right?
Yeah.
So then you see this candle create another high. You're like, that resets this candle. So this candle is no longer your pullback
Pull
high.
back high. Okay.
It resets it. This resets it. So it resets it to this candle. Now this candle is your pullback high, right? So as
Mm-hmm.
soon as that high is developed, start marking your lines. Okay, I'm gonna stop out here and I'm gonna enter one tick below the body, which is like at the wick.
Huh.
So now you just wait. You wait till the next candle opens. It opens right there. Okay, I can get in, or I can't get in. I gotta wait. Because
Okay.
let's pretend this candle popped up, right? You're like, oh shit, I gotta wait until it either hits that level or it breaks that level.
Okay.
But
All
like
right. I did not know that.
this is what I do is like I find a pullback high, like you said, this is a pullback high, right? This is not here. This
Mm.
candle right here,
Yeah.
this candle right here probably got pushed up and then immediately it got sucked down. But
Yeah.
that wick makes it the pullback high. So it resets this one. Just
Mm.
like this big red one reset this one.
Yeah. Okay. So on this one, because it's been okay, because this one reset this one, then my entry, this candle open here. So I
Yeah.
mean, I would have entered whatever when it break, like let's say here, that
Yeah.
wick.
Yep.
And then my stop would be
Up
here.
there. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. See, and it wouldn't have even came close to your stop. You would have
Yeah. And
held through
then,
some pain in that
yeah,
chop zone. You
through
would have
some
held.
pain.
This is called
Okay.
pain right here.
Yeah.
Painful. Painful.
Hey, you guys,
But
I need to make a quick call, but I'll be back in 5 minutes.
sure.
Okay.
Um. Yeah, like I said, you might have to hold through a little bit of pain, but look, it never even came close to to your uh your stop.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. All right. I'm learning today. I'm learning. I learned two things so far.
Awesome.
The reset, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know there was a reset. There could be a reset. Like to me, okay, this is the pullback high, and then this is my entry candle. Or usually it's two candle after, but now I'm gonna adjust that to one candle. If it breaks the body by like 2 to 4 tick or something like that, I have to decide on it.
Hmm.
Then yeah, that would be my entry. Wow, interesting. Interesting.
Glad it's helping. And let's hope put it to practice.
Yeah.
Now that you know, now let's execute. Execute
Okay.
how we showing you how to execute.
Perfect. Okay. That was yesterday. Yesterday, I did reach the objective. Okay, so now I don't know. This is the rest of the trade. I didn't take trades really today, whatever. I was mostly playing Call of Duty, but I was on the chat with
So
you guys.
look it over here.
Over here on this one, yeah.
Over here, right? You shouldn't have taken that trade. Can you tell me why? It has
First of all,
something. Let me give you a hint. It has something to
I
do
got
over here.
okay, so I am seeing, first of all, MACD is bullish. That's one.
Yep.
And two, I would say even the RSI is bullish.
Yep.
And it's creating a higher low. Yeah, I
Yep.
think it's creating higher low. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not only that,
Um,
but it's near the 666. Usually what happens at the
oh,
666, it'll catch it.
mhm,
It'll catch it. This, it didn't really catch it, but you kind of have a wonky inverted head and shoulders.
okay.
That, this right here, this pattern right here,
Mm-hmm.
pay close attention because you start seeing that. You're in this right here, right?
Yeah,
What should you be expecting right here? On these candles right here, what should you be expecting? Because none of this is here, right? None of this is here.
yeah.
Over here, you're like, this is what's going through my head, right?
Oh yeah,
Let
lower on the candle, higher lows, maybe
yeah,
a pullback.
but let me explain what's going through my head.
Okay.
So I got this, right? So I'll draw a line right there. And then I'm like, okay, what's going on? Okay, it looks like a possible inverted head and shoulders. It looks like it's basing a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I got my pivot point. You're like, what the fuck's a pivot point? Pivot point, these little dojis right here. I call those my pivot points. Because if you draw a line right on that pivot point, it's kind of wonky, but I tell myself, if I break that level, I want to see a higher low off that level or off the 666 because it's right there. So what am I seeing right here? Look at how many red bars there is. There's one red volume beat right here, but it gets beat
Okay.
out by four green volumes.
Okay.
So right here, I see, okay, a possible inverted head and shoulders. I'm telling myself in these candles, okay, I want to see it come back, create a higher low right here. And this is not perfect. You got to get that into your head. Not all patterns are going to be picture perfect, like textbook perfect, right?
Yeah.
So it is an inverted head and shoulders right here. And I'm already telling myself in this vicinity right here, I want to see a higher low. Right here, you see MACD. In this instance right
Bullish.
here, MACD should have been closer to the average, but it's not. It's still spreading apart,
Yeah.
right? And then look, right there, you got in short, but where's RSI? It's on the top channel.
Yeah.
Once it gets to the top channel, you're telling yourself, I want to see a higher low off the 50 RSI. That's what you get. So this could have been a beautiful, this is exactly, besides this big red candle right here,
Mm-hmm.
this is a picture perfect first leg pullback right here for an entry
Okay.
long,
Yeah.
And you should have entered here and stopped out here or even below the 666 for
Yeah,
entry
because you're
long.
entering in the direction of the move.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Like for you, you never seen, um, especially because it's base. When you see it basing
Mhm.
this wick, it's always gonna come back and retest that base. Always.
What was basing though? What exactly
Basing
was
is
basing?
like it
No, but
like
what was basing? Like
this
the
right here.
price action
Yeah,
or
price
moving
action.
average? What are
Yeah,
we talking about?
price
Okay,
action.
price action. Okay.
And then you said this is a 100 and then this is a 200.
Yeah.
They're flat. They're flat as heck.
Okay.
Even here, look, it started kind of pointing up. If they were pointing down a little bit, then maybe yeah, I would have said lower high because there's a lower high here. It's still in a
Mm-hmm.
downtrend, right? It's still down. But
So
only if the moving averages are pointing down.
okay.
Right here, they're still flat, kind of slanted a little bit up. Right here. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
pay attention to
Slanted.
these. Are they spreading
Yeah.
up? Are they spreading apart or are they coming close together? And usually when you get the MACD and the RSI cross, you usually get the RSI cross first.
Yeah.
Then like 2 or 3 bars, you get the MACD cross. So like right here, you got the RSI cross, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying right here at the bottom, you're like, I want to see the MACD cross in the next couple of bars. You get the MACD cross. Okay. Now you're like, I see a possible inverted head and shoulders. Now I want to see a higher low off the 666. As sometimes it might not be exactly on the 666.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see the 10 SMA pointing up. See, even right here is kind of pointing up.
Yeah, and easy. I played that one, and so it's field tested.
Okay. It's bulletproof.
That's right.
Okay, got it. All right. Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right. That is yeah, that was my last trade of the week. That was on the 14th yesterday. So overall, whatever the week, I was telling LasagnaCat before, it's like a wash-off week. The money, let's say that I had made on Monday, Tuesday, on Wednesday, I got destroyed, even past it. I continued trading. I don't think I was revenge trading, but on the other hand, yeah, I should have limit myself, let's say, to that. Well, I did limit myself to 4 trades, but I didn't put, let's say, an amount on the trade. So maybe it's something I should look into as well, like to
Yes.
restrict me. Because yeah.
Yes, definitely use a max stop loss. And like
Mm-hmm.
me, I have a max stop loss of $1,000, right?
Okay, so you have an amount and a limit of trades too then.
A limit of trades. And if I get 2 red trades, I'm done.
Okay. I'm gonna put that on my list.
If I
Something
get
I
two
have.
red trades back to back, I'm done. I'm done. Not even trading no more. Why? Because that's either gonna fuck up your confidence. Hold on one sec.
Okay.
That shit works too. I took 2 reds today. I closed
Mm-hmm.
up shop, and I feel fine. I've got a nice clean feeling going into the weekend. Like it's as if nothing ever happened.
Okay.
Except I
And
learned
that's
from
2 red trades on a row, or let's say you get one green, one red, one green, and the other one like is it 2 red trade in a row we're talking about?
for me, it's 2 red in a row. But if
Okay.
I take a red, a green, and a red, and if I
Mm-hmm.
feel a certain way after that red, I'm also done.
Okay.
But that's not the rule. Rule is 2 in a row red. But like if it's red, green, red, I'm not gonna force myself to trade anymore. I'm just, I'll leave it up to myself. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I'm free to bow out at that point.
Okay. All right. I didn't set a limit yet just because I'm still in sim. I mean, I didn't set a limit amount because I'm in sim, but I did set the 4 trade max. So yeah, at least I know it's 4 trades for now. I don't know what Semper is gonna say on this one. Like, what should I trade? What's the amount that I should limit it?
Right.
limited to? Yeah.
I think Semper's rule is go for 4 trades a day, five at the absolute max.
Oh, 5 at the absolute max. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So far,
Semper's.
I've been doing. I've been limiting myself to 4 trades. So
Yeah,
that's one, that's two, that's three. I even took 3 trades yesterday. See, not even four.
yeah. And for me, it's like I don't even have any desire to trade after 4, even if they were all like good. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, I go into the day only expecting to trade 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
And it's often only once. And like, it's as is the way it is. And but as a caveat, like sometimes it's just one, and maybe I only have like 2 hours to trade that day.
Okay.
So it could be like that. But 4 trades or even 3, I'm usually like, you know what, not even, I
It's
don't even
it's
feel.
it's it's long. It's long. And like, are you setting for a set of points? Like, how many points you're trying to capture?
Yeah. So like, I would ideally like to get 5 points in a trade, and
Mm-hmm.
I would ideally, if I can get 2 of those, I'll just really tell myself I'm done right there. Um, maybe I'll keep watching. If I see the thing is if I see an A plus,
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it, but it needs to be a true A plus, like at that point. Like
Yeah.
if I've already made my goal, most of the time I'll set up shop. But if I see an A plus and like and there's no devil on my shoulder, and you can tell when there is,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
just clean A plus, then I'll take it.
Then you jump in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, yeah. Okay. Well, no, I don't, like I said, I don't have an amount yet. I just have the limit of trades.
Yeah.
Because right now, yeah, I'm more trying to work on the strategy, right? To more and follow the rules. I think, yeah, so far I think I think I am following the rule. The only thing is I see that you guys, like, when I take the short on the 5 minute, because on the 1 minute it looks weird, but
Yeah.
I'm taking it based on the 5 minute. Like, that's one of the things that happened. And those short, I know that they give much more, I'll say much more return, much more money, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I see the trade on the 1 minute. I know exactly what it looks like. But when it's on the 5 minute, it's a bit it's tougher.
I know what
Like,
you mean.
it
Like
look
it's tougher to
wonky.
communicate it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the 5 minute, I just see it and I'm like, oh, it reached that level. Now I'm just waiting to short it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not gonna wait till it crosses the 10, like it dropped below the 10. But if I see 2 red candles, to me, that's like, oh, that's a short.
Yep.
Like, that's the entry short right there. But that's
Yeah.
what I have to communicate better.
Call out your trade. This is a 5 minute trade. This is a 1 minute trade.
Okay. Oh, okay. Call it out that way too. All right.
Yeah, like, hey, this is my 5 minute trade, and then I'll be like, okay, because usually when you say, oh, I'm getting in,
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you like, okay, why'd you get in? Or and you
Yeah.
show me
What
a
did you see?
screenshot, and you show me a
Yeah.
screenshot of the 1 minute. I'm like, that's not your trade, dude.
Okay.
But if you
Perfect.
show me a shot, if you say, okay, I'm getting in, it's a 5 minute trade. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
send me your 5 minute chart
With
and
the
your one
argument.
minute chart.
Okay.
So like that, I can tell you, okay, this is how you could have used the 1 minute to get in on your 5 minute trade. Know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
your
Got it.
your your 5 minute is your trade plan, right? I'm gonna get in
Mm-hmm.
when it does this, and I'm gonna target the 50 SMA or the 200, whatever,
Yeah.
on the 5 minute. Okay, and then I'm gonna tell you, okay, you could have locked in you could have entered here on the 1 minute. That would have been your optimal trade. So like that, you get used to your trade plan being on your 5 minute, but your entry being on the 1 minute.
Perfect.
I've
Yeah.
taken
Perfect.
entries on the 5 minute and it works.
Mm-hmm.
I could trade the 5 minute the whole fucking day if I wanted to. But sometimes I like to get a little bit better entry and I'll do
Mm-hmm.
it on the 1 minute.
Okay.
But cool,
All
good
right.
trade.
Um,
I'll be right back.
that's that. Yeah. Yeah.
LasagnaCat, go for it.
All right, cool. So I'm going to do my trades right now, unless there's any other participants here who would like to do a trade recap. Um, so
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool to see how your long players are playing it. Or I would love to see another short player just to see how
yeah,
they're shorting.
no
That'd be
doubt.
cool.
So
That'd be cool. That's one of the things I think I'm gonna start searching up. Like, not that I want to change my strategy or anything, but just to reinforce it. Or
yeah,
maybe like Semper said, more tool to your belt. I'm not looking for another strategy. I'm just looking for better confirmation or maybe an extra confirmation or something else that they may be looking at that I'm not looking.
yeah, absolutely. I'm always looking for that too. You really can't get enough of that. Just further
Yeah,
reinforcement. As long as you're able to look at it without it, like being too much to look at, then it will just only help.
correct.
Um, all right. I don't see anybody else wanting to do a recap. So got two that I like to show. I usually like to show a red, but this time around I've got two greens that I want to show. And I want to show these because they're fairly ideal setups, or what you call it. It's like ideal instances of one of my setups, rather. They're both
Okay.
okay, cool. All right, I'm on. So these are both going to be first leg entry setups. All right, this one's from Wednesday, and this is the one that you and Semper were just looking at, Easy.
Yeah.
So this
Oh yeah, yeah. That's where, oh man. Yeah, yeah. That's the bulletproof one you're talking about.
exactly bulletproof. So like, and I caught the ideal entry on this one, I feel. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the reason why I felt really good about it was that because I've tended towards second leg entries, but the reason why I like the first one is a few reasons. One is that it caught its first leg support off the 666. Like these where it found support down here, and it was on SPY that found initial support, and it was really good support. I don't remember what it was exactly, but it
Mm-hmm.
caught initial like really strong support here, uh smashed up through the 666, came down here, caught the 10 SMA, that's my blue one, which was already pointing up. So moving averages look really, really good. Moving
Yeah.
averages, great. So these moving averages are in a traffic jam, but the 200 is flat and the 666 is flat. And when I see that, I'm always like, well, those indicate stability. And they've worked out before many times, and so I've come to respect them. The 50 wasn't quite flattened out yet, but it was on its way to doing so, and the 50-50 cross was getting ready to happen as well, which are not all very visible because of the traffic jam. But
Mm-hmm.
at the time you stretch out the chart, you can see it, you stretch it back down. And so that explains the support resistance and the moving averages down here. We were getting a nice squeeze suggestion from the TTM, with the buyers starting to peek their faces out. RSI dipped above the 50, then back into the 50. MACD down below looked like it was heading in the right direction. And those all look pretty encouraging. Buyer volume was starting to come in. It all looked encouraging, but it was really the support and the shape of the pullback which really made me want this trade. Also, one thing that's like was also on my radar was it a bit of like a funny shaped. Oh, that's a bad color. Can't really see that.
Yeah, it's black.
Yeah, it's not bad color for showing up on a black background. So what we had here was like an inverted head and shoulders, and the right shoulder was like a higher low from the left shoulder. I don't know if those are like even better, or maybe they're not as good or whatever, but it definitely had the inverted head and shoulders look. So I put it all together and it just sounded great. Like I had like no reason to not take it. And this was like a weekly doji level, this teal level here. So I wanted to see if it capped out there, and it looked like it kind of did. I didn't feel like holding through a pullback, so I took my profits there.
Yeah.
I had every reason actually to believe it would go up, because it was also getting confirmation from this trend line here, this little short-term trend.
Mhm.
TTM was really pouring in, and
Oh, yeah.
it was like an easy ride up to my 200 fib, which was also pre-market high.
Yeah.
So, and I don't feel bad about it because it's a beautiful thing, because I spotted the fantastic reversal. In the future, I'll when I'm playing more contracts, I'll just divvy them up here and let some go up. Um,
A
but yeah,
question that I have on this one, on your first when you first started, weren't you getting in on the second leg entry?
yeah, I was right.
I said,
So what you mean is shouldn't I have felt confident to hold through?
yeah, I mean, to me, that's the logic, right?
Yeah,
Because usually you get in on the second leg entry, so you know there, like you kind of knew there would be another leg up.
yeah.
So that's one of the confirmation or one of the reason why I would have kept it longer, kept it
And
going.
I totally agree with that. The only thing that gave me cold feet
Mhm.
was actually back here. You see to the left, price action is really chopping that level. And
Yeah.
so that was the first attempt, second, third, and I was just like, this might be the last one it tolerates and go back down. So it was, if that weren't there, if that level wasn't there, I would have been happy to take it to the next fib level, which would have been that. I wouldn't have wrote it all the way up, but I would have taken it there.
Yeah.
But this little not little, this major doji level was making me um hesitate, you know. Oh, I think Semper might have circled some squeeze volume here.
Yep.
So that's the
Let's see if you
telltale.
guys call it.
Yeah,
These two little green bars right here telling you that it's gonna squeeze up. And the color will tell you which way. Sometimes you'll get a red and a green and a green and red. But that's just for you to be like, okay, it's gonna squeeze, especially when you get double green. You get double green or double red, it's gonna go in that direction. When it's
yeah,
red green or green red, you don't really know, other than your TA. Your TA
yeah,
will kind of tell you.
absolutely. Which gives you even like, and like it could even give you confidence to be like on the strength of the move. Because this second one, if you had entered on this candle above this um little doji, that would have worked just fine. Technically, this red one was a little bit lower than that one. That was technically the low, which is why I entered here, because this candle opened here, squeezed up, and while it was squeezing up, I was like, there we go. We're a couple ticks past this. But then it pulled back down, and that gave you the first little volume bar. This one here was the second little volume bar, and I believe that it having support on the 10 and going a tick or two above that would have also been a great entry. And clearly would have worked out. Um,
Yeah, I get why you were kind of you were kind of skittish around this area because that
yeah,
line lines up with the 161. Easy. Sometimes when you're using fibs, sometimes
Mhm.
there's a play. It's called the shy of the 161 for a pullback to the 100 for a continuation pop. So what it does, it'll shy the 161,
Yeah.
come back, hit the 100%, and then squeeze up.
Hmm.
And we used
Okay.
to use fibs, so we're still like traumatized from that.
for
Okay.
real, for real. In fact, I've been using fibs again this week just to kind of like give that roadmap again, because that roadmap can just it really can be helpful. And you know, like this bear market shit is like mad confusing to me. So like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, yeah, let's whip out those fibs again and get that map in front of me.
Yeah. I can say something on this one.
Yeah,
I
please.
like I feel also like even though I'm getting better trades, and then this week I find that I didn't deviate from the strategy, but like I said, I was making stupid mistake because my entry weren't I wasn't waiting for the proper pullback high. And I think it's because I haven't looked at my rules this week at all.
Mm.
Versus one of the things that I used to do the other weeks, like
Big no.
before. What? Hello?
I said big no. You should always be paying attention to your rules.
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't read my rules before, like just to refresh my mind to know what I'm paying attention to. It's like right now I feel like I'm driving and then I'm like, okay, I know the road sign, I know the limit, I know the vita. Like that's one of the things that I want to do. I want to reread my rules just to make sure that okay, I know what I have to focus on, and
Don't
then after
Yeah.
that start trading.
don't just reread them. Post them up in front of you until you know how to talk yourself through the trade.
Okay.
Remember, I don't know, maybe LasagnaCat can post his rules and explain how we created them. And that's
Yeah.
how I want you, if you can, LasagnaCat, pull them up if you have
Yeah.
time
Yeah, I'll do that
and
right now.
show them, kind of walk them through um, how we created them and why we created them that way. So,
Yeah.
like that, it'll give him a little bit of a roadmap on how to create his rules and kind of talk himself through the trade.
Yeah.
If you
For
could give
sure.
him an example, that'd be great. And I'll be right back in like 5 or 10 minutes.
All right, let's see. So yeah, I'll do that with my next recap. Because I've got another one to share. So
Okay.
let me save my rules document where I can find it. Where the hell is it? This will just take me a second. My bad, my bad. Well, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna post it into the futures chat right now. So it's like I don't know, it's like a Word document. And so what I'll also do, so I posted that in chat. And what I'll also do is I'll put it on the screen here. There we go. Uh, going kind of slowly here. But yeah, it's a good idea for me to do this because like it'll show how it applies to like the recap I'm about to share here. Um,
I don't. I would say I don't see them yet.
do you see it in the futures chat?
Oh, in the futures chart. Let me just check. Yeah, yeah. Okay, rules and narrative. Yeah, see them.
Yeah. All right, nice. You know what though? That might be an old one. Is that an old one? Ah, shit. That one's actually kind of old. Let me delete that real quick because I know I've got a newer one. Sorry, y'all. This is a little boring. Okay, so let me look at my downloads file. Folder. 'Cause- 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 'cause
Are you trying to open it or?
Yeah. You know what? It's a little outdated, this one, but I'll just share it anyway. Doesn't have to be like the newest of the new. All right, yeah. So we'll just go with that one. So this is just what it kind of looks like. I call it rules and narrative. And so it tells you what to do during pre-market over here, and it also tells you like to know when data is being released. So in pre-market, it's just like look at all the different time frames. Is it a gap up, gap down? Is it inside a previous day's candle? So it just gives you an idea, the top section of like where things are at in the daily, weekly scheme of things, and when is data being released. So I'll just flip through the two scenes while I'm doing the recap. And I'll bring up my second recap here. So this will be my recap from the 14th, which is yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
So first rule is there proper MA stacking? There must be proper stacking for reversal or proper stacking for long. So for one thing, it needs to start with a big dump. And that isn't on this version of the rules, but it's on my latest one, which I don't have. So walking myself through price action, I'll be like, well, there's no dump, so there really isn't anything for me to look at here, like from the open. It's like I'm looking at the open, there's nothing for me to look at in terms of getting into the trade because there hasn't been a big dump yet. That whole section just doesn't even apply to me, the whole initial part, because I'm waiting for a dump to happen. Which is, and it's nice to have like that freedom, like that amount of time to where like I don't even have to think about it, So this whole thing, that's not even my concern. But I'm waiting for the dump. And the dump happens here, Nice spot for a dump. And then, so I need to ask myself, are moving averages stacked for a reversal? And so they actually aren't completely, because my ideal stack for a reversal is the 666, 200, 50, and 100. But here the 50 and the 100 are reversed. But what we do have here, and I was talking about this in my last recap, is that the 666 is flat and even pointed a little bit up, and the 200 is also flat and even pointed a little bit up. And so that's what I mean when it like causes when that type of moving average like causes stability, or like gives me the impression of stability, is that those two very major ones, 666 and the 200, are both flat or even pointed a little bit up. And so that's that part of the narrative there. And so let's go on to the other rules. So are moving averages stacked for reversal? And the answer is yes, not in the usual way, but yeah. Was there a big dump? Awesome. Yes, there was. How do moving averages look? And that refers to the flatness and the shape. And it's like, well, they're flat and they're good. So we talked about the stack in the first rule. Now we're talking about the flatness, which was implied when we talked about the first rule as well. This is very important, this next one. And this is where it's not just rules. This is where it's also narrative. Because I asked myself throughout, what do I see? What would I like to see? At that point, what I see is that price action is coming into support from that dump. And it happens to be very heavy support because we've got the 50 SMA daily and the buying zone, the pocket of the the CPI fib. So what do I see? What do I want to see as the dump is happening? Well, I'd like for it to come into like ideally this nest of support. So moving back, what do I see? What would I like to see? Is price action at major support? Well, in my last question was, what do I see? What do I want to see? And I said, well, I'd like to see price action at major support. And my next question is price action a major support, which it is, like very major. And so after that, it's what do I see? What would I like to see? Well, I'd like to see RSI looking the way I want it to look, which one of my favorite RSI looks is the overcool recovery. So when it got down to the support, I was like, well, it's overcool. I'd love to see it recover as well as across of the MACD. All right, let's go back to the rules. So what does R look like? Check that out. Overcool and recover. Fuck yes. What does MACD look like? Is it validating RSI? And what to look for are these bullet points. Closing in for upside cross or maybe fresh upside cross. Let's look in there. So yep, closing in for the cross. At this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's starting to go up. I would like to see a pullback, maybe two. But on this one in particular, I was like, I would settle for a first leg entry 1 pullback because it's like triple support. I even have standard dev center right here. I don't remember what was happening on SPY, but it must have been major. I also have a trend line here that it smashed through and it came down. It shied the, what you call it, the total confirmation of it. But when I saw that it was resting in this little fib area that I'd fibbed out, I was like, look at that, looks right to me. And that's where you kind of also say to yourself, well, textbook trades only happen in a textbook. You got to adapt a little bit. All right, next thing is, what does volume look like? Ideally, there'd be huge buyer beats and consolidation, tiny squeeze bars. We were talking about that in the last one, and big red burnouts into potential reversal support. And Easy, you had that one recap where you were talking about climax candles. And for me, I like to see those, ideally the last one before. But here's one kind of like the one that you looked at. It was a few before the very bottom. And to me, it was like, yeah, what you call it? Red volume being exhausted. So I was like, all right, right on. And we got some buyer beats. So ever since that exhaustion happened, there was like no red volume. This was the only one, and it was really small. So at that point, I said to myself, you know what? Even if this is a small pullback, if I get that first leg entry, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. And I thought to myself, let me just use the 200 SMA as my target. Let's go back to the rules.
So far, I mean, the way you're explaining it, yeah, that's a nice trade. Like, it is a perfect trade. Like that volume climax or whatever, it's something that I always look for as well.
For sure.
Yeah, and I mean, it is the opposite of my trade, like, but I understand it perfectly. You're looking for a red volume. Me, I'm looking for a big green volume. That's when I'm like, wow, okay.
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
100%. And like it was while I was doing the finding your way mentoring with Semper that I was able to like create this rule structure. And I even have a newly updated one, but this really gives like a good idea of what it's like, because it shows that like the important indicator questions and price action questions all have the question and what the acceptable answers are, instead of being like, does volume look good, yes or no? It's like, well, what are we looking for in volume? What are acceptable, and are they applicable to the situation? Oh, and here's an important one. So here go, this section right here, this is my indicator section of questions. And after that, and this is a hugely important one, and it's a big part of the narrative, is price action recognizable and replicable? So let's look back at the chart. So looking at the chart, I'd say a big dump into major support, into like, you know, some kind of high with a tidy looking pullback. Granted, it was a fairly quick pullback, but it wasn't that shallow. Like I drew a little fib up here. This comes down into the 50 fib of that little high. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a shallow pullback. It makes me feel a little hesitant if that pullback is too shallow. But in this case, that little bit of traveling takes it from the 100 down to the 50. So I found that to be acceptable. Like not only acceptable, but like, yeah, that's cool. That gives me confidence. So is there a first red pullback? Yes, there is.
Well, there's a pullback. It doesn't have to be red on top. Like by red pullback, I mean like, you know, is the top candle red? I don't pay attention to that anymore. Like the top candle can be green. That's fine. That's something I've adjusted. This next rule I broke, but it's not a cardinal rule, you might say. Is there a candle touching a moving average? At this point, there was a candle on we had support on the 10 SMA, which is awesome. But when I initially wrote that rule, what I meant was it has to be touching the 21 or like the 50 before I can determine if the pullback's acceptable or not. I actually, since I'm looking at the 10 SMA more and with this amount of support, again, that's adapting your rules to the situation. It's a fine line that I'm starting to wrap my head around. It comes back to like, it can be dangerous territory, especially for someone who's initially getting used to their rules, because it's like no trade is a textbook. Like textbook trades only happen in a textbook. Sure, that's true, but you can't just go around breaking your rules willy-nilly. You need a little bit of time, or a trader needs a little bit of time to develop their eye to like, okay, this is a situation where I find this rule to be adaptable. So moving on. So is there a pullback? Yes, there is. A little pullback. Is there a high or low? Yes, there is a high or low. Is there a second high or low? Okay, I'm not playing that setup. I'm playing the first high or low setup. So this question right here isn't applicable. So has price action pulled back to my fib zone? I made this rule set when I was using fibs a lot. I happen to be using the fib for this one. So it did pull back my ad zone, meaning it was not a shallow pullback. It made the grade. Oh, and right here, do I need to see a second pullback before my entry? All right, fantastic. Let's look at that. And the answer I can already, oh, what's that?
No, I mean in this one, yeah, you don't do the second pullback now.
No, I don't, because this that's absolutely right, because this nest of support is strong enough. When you're talking about triple support, that's when I'm confident to do a first leg, first high or low entry. Not only is there like a whole nest of support, it got trend line support. Fucking awesome. It's squeezed above the trend, came back down to make the higher low. Very encouraging. And then so this right here is like, oh, did you do your second leg entry? I also need to make a first one. Like this kind of lets you know which play you chose. But in this case, I said no to the second pullback because of that triple support plus trend line support. So it should say first leg entry with a check mark. Anyway, that's the whole narrative. And I possibly could have told that a little bit better, but I think it does. And again, I do have a slightly updated version of those rules, slightly.
But I like it. It looks pretty complete to me, and I'm gonna not play with my rules, but I'm gonna try to write it the way you wrote them, because you is much more complete versus me. I think I have like 5 to 10 questions, and then that's it. But I'm gonna make it more perfect, or more strict, I should say.
Yeah, make it like a script, like you're walking yourself through that.
Yeah.
Through your play.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think I updated the most is that I asked this question a couple more times throughout the rest of the narrative. Like when you write down your rules, and if you put it in like a narrative form, if you have a question like this, what do I see, what I'd like to see? Like pepper the rest of the rules with that. Like after the next couple rules, do what do I see, what do I want to see? This is a variation of that. This is like when it all comes together. Is price action recognizable and replicable? The reason why I like that rule so much is because it's like, you're not looking for, in order to do a play again and again and again and again, you need to recognize it. You need to be like, boom, this is the thing that I see when I close my eyes and imagine my play. you need to recognize it with your eyes closed. Like you need to like close your eyes and be like, boom, that's the play. And the rules are set up so that you can play that play when it materializes. It's kind of the way I look at it. I actually got that from a futures trader I started following recently, and he said like one thing that gives you confidence is to know your setup. And like if you can close your eyes and see your setup, that's a very good sign. Like
On
any day.
this one, I agree, and then that's why I was also happy when Semper showed me how to do the B setup. You know, when it's coming.
Yeah.
So that one I like too, because I of course I want to get the more points, so I want to be in before the cross. So yeah, that's one thing I appreciate.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And again, the way I liked showing this one after the last one because it was another first leg pullback entry that I do, which is a newer adaptation for me that also ended in a larger run. And what's really replicable about this is not only the price action, but the triple support and the fact that it's a new setup for me. And I'm reinforcing that the same things that made it playable the first time are the exact same things that are making it playable the second time. And going on, it'll be the third time, the fourth time, the fifth line. Boom. If I play a first pullback entry, this is required. If you look at these two charts next to each other, they look like exactly the same.
Yeah, I
That's
thought it
correct.
was.
Yeah. It's the same trade, you know.
And that's you training your brain to see that same pattern, you know.
Yeah.
You're not trading a different pattern. You're trading that same pattern
Yeah.
in, day out, day in, day out. So every time you see that pattern, you're telling yourself, oh shit, this is my setup. This is, you know,
Yep.
this is the pattern. This is my pattern because it's not the pattern because
Right.
different
Yeah,
people trade it
yeah.
differently.
But it's
Yeah.
not my pattern at all. But yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Cause like people, this is Wednesdays, you know, check that out. And this is yesterday's.
Yep.
It's the same freaking thing. It follows the same story. And it
Mm-hmm.
follows the same continuation story. It's the same story.
Yes, sir. But look at this one. Look at this one. The other one.
Mhm.
Look at how clean the leg pullback was, and look at
Yeah.
how strong it is compared to the other one. Just look
Yeah.
at the difference. The other one, you get one candle pullback, and then you get a bunch of like stair step. You see,
Yeah.
stair step, stair step, stair step. That's what I mean when you see a clean pullback, just like that. Two red candles on the other one.
Mhm.
You see the two red candles, and then the green one, a little small body, and then boom,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, you were walking us through some price action yesterday. I remember you were explaining what I want to see is this next kind of candle. What I want to see, I'd like to see a small one now.
Yep.
And you like the small one because when that first like entry happens, that's a much cleaner, what you call it, risk reward because
Yep.
this candle is like right here. It's just like it's real small.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like that risk reward, like right there, like this is your entry and your risk is under that square. Shit. I'd feel
Yeah.
calm during that trade.
Yeah, it's like a 0.5 to 3, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. And shit, if you're holding contracts, letting a couple ride, you go up there, it's 1 to shit 12, something crazy.
Exactly. And you, once you get multiple contracts, lock in right here, let one ride, and then put that trail stop.
Yeah.
Practice putting that trail stop. Because look, you could have put it to this moving average or even the 9 EMA. Or is that your 9?
Let's see. What this right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10. Yeah.
Yeah, you're 10. Look at, maybe even put it 2 ticks below or
Yeah.
at the 10. It doesn't matter. You would have caught the move all the way up here,
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
past your 200%.
Yep.
You know, that's
That's a 261 up there.
pretty good fucking odds of me, you know,
Hell
or
yeah.
ratio or risk reward ratio.
And that trail stop, like let's say it went to 2 ticks below. look how close that is to the 261 anyway. It's like you
Yep.
don't even need the 261 because your stop is like right here. And
Yep.
like if you anyone who's seen me trade before like knows that like I don't give a shit about the top of the move. I'm always gonna take,
Yep.
like taking it off a little bit under the top is fine with me.
But that's making sure that you lock in your trade at green or
Yeah.
green for sure. 100%. There's not, you might give a little bit of money back,
Hmm.
but your trade is fucking green no matter what happens.
Yep.
And
I
that's the greatest feeling in the world when you could put a fishing order. Let's say you put a fishing order out at the 261 and you put a trail stop at the 10 SMA, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go eat some lunch, or I'm gonna go out and let this trade work out.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm happy. Either way, I'm happy.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I love that feeling and I've had that feeling. And that's the feeling I want to get for the next 50 years.
Yep.
Um,
You'll consistently start to get it, bro. You're
yeah.
training your brain to see that pattern, and that's where all of us need to get. Once I
Yeah.
started seeing that reputable, recognizable, replicable
Right.
um pattern, it was like ingrained in my head.
Yeah. I remember when you started getting it too. I was like, I was like, how come Semper knows where to buy?
And trust me, I'm always trying to perfect my entries or perfect this. Now I'm pretty certain that I got my entries pretty spot on,
Yeah.
and now I'm trying to be well rounded, right? Because there's days where Brandon says, "Oh, all indicators are out the door. It's they're not working." That's
Yeah.
when I can fall back on my price action or supply and demand
Right.
uh style and use that instead.
Yeah, no doubt. And that reminds me of like the question I used to really ask myself. Like when I saw you like lasering in on your like replicable, recognizable setup, I would always say to myself, how does Semper know that that's going to happen? And like it wasn't that you knew it was going to happen, is that you were waiting for it to happen.
Yep.
I was just like, oh shit. And like when I realized that, I was like, all right, all right, all right. And I only realized that during our mentoring a few months ago. That hadn't clicked until I was making my rules. And I was like, oh shit, now I see.
Yeah, you're narrating. This is what you want to get to, easy. You want to narrate your play and kind of forecast the play, right? Because you're telling yourself, this is what I want to see, right? And then what you want to see is starting to play out. And then you're like, okay, this is the next thing I need to see before I get in. So that need to see, and then I'll say, this is what I need to see before I even enter. And then you see it, you're like, oh shit, I just forecasted the play.
Yeah.
You just forecasted the play. And how do you forecast it? With the indicators. With the RSI and MACD are lagging indicators, but you can forecast the play. Like you can say, okay, the candle, if you're using your price action, like these candles right here, um, these candles right here, they're like, okay, that's strong. I want to see a higher low. Okay, you see a higher low. Okay, what does RSI look like? What does MACD look like? Does it
Yeah.
look bullish? Does it look bearish? What does TTM look like? What does volume look like? You're like, okay, next thing I want to see is I want to see a break through the 50 RSI and a pullback to the 50 RSI or whatever. And you start to see it, you're like, oh shit, it's playing out. And then you're like, okay, this is the last thing I need to see before I get in.
Yeah.
And then execute. Whatever it is, just hit the buy button or the sell button, whatever it is.
Sell button.
Yeah. So now remember you told me when we first started, oh, I want to trade both sides.
Mhm.
And I was like, and I told you, you usually figure out if you're a short player or a long player. Now
Yeah,
you figured out that you're a short player. It's a lot easier for you to see short plays.
correct.
So laser that shit in. Laser that shit in. There's gonna be short plays, there's gonna be long plays. The only time there isn't is when it's a grind up. But even in a grind up, you change your mentality to a scalper mentality. where instead of getting
the short trades.
instead of going 4 to 6 points, you're maybe going 2 to 4 points.
Perfect.
So remember, when you're counter trend trading, you lower your expectation. Instead of getting 4 to 6, you're gonna go 2 to 4.
Okay.
And that's totally up to you.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, understood.
So develop those rules. I don't know if LasagnaCat can send you a copy of his rules so you could kind of like
yeah, I did.
modify them.
I got them already. He did send them to me.
Perfect. So like modify them to fit your strategy, but the same narrative. You know how he kind of created like a script.
Yeah.
Try to keep that so you're like, okay, and keep that in front of you. Trust me, I don't need them in front of me because I can talk myself through the trade. I already know my rules. But yeah, keep them in front of you so you can talk yourself. I know you work, so you might not be able to talk to yourself, but but you can like mentally talk to yourself, you know, like, okay, this is
course.
what I want to see next. This is okay, I see that. Okay, check. I got that. All right, what do I want to see next? Okay, check. I got that. You know, and just you can make little check boxes. Okay, check, check, check. And that's gonna help you. And once you laser in your shorts, you're gonna start to see like me and LasagnaCat are long players. So once you start to see us call out our plays, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I see what he's seeing now. And then you're gonna be like, okay, now I can get in long, you know? And it's gonna be easier for you to get in long. But all players, no matter who you are, you're gonna gravitate to one side or the other, short or long. And I recommend that you concentrate on that bias first. Laser in your setup on that bias first and make sure you got that shit laser locked. And then once you got that shit laser locked, concentrate on your B grade setup. Once you got that laser locked, then you can worry about going long. But not until then. Not until you got your first two setups lasered in. Once you got that, you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna start to try to see both sides. And you've helped me see shorts a lot better, whether you think so or not, because your style of play has helped me look at shorts a lot better.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Well, welcome for that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we all
Yeah,
this is
more,
this
but
is
more. Thank you for perfecting my entries.
no, this is honestly this is a reason why I created this group. It used to be private, where it was just me and a couple other elites, and collaborating together. Like you said in the beginning of the meeting, if I'm going long and you're going short and you call out your play, you might name out something that I didn't see. For instance, like 2 days ago, Kyle saved me. He's a good short player, and he's like, well, usually this is my pattern to go in short. And I was like, well, usually this is my pattern to go in long. And then he's like, if it breaks this level, it's going short, you know? And he says, and I told him the reverse. If it breaks this level, I'm long. And I got in long, and he's like, okay, if it breaks that level. So as soon as it broke his level, I got out.
Yeah. Okay. To each their trade.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes we're both in a trade together, and you're like, I hope it doesn't go your way. And he's probably saying, I hope it doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
and then if it goes my way, he can ask me, like, okay, what did you see that I didn't see? And in the same way, what did he see that I didn't see if it went his way? And I was like,
Perfect.
oh, okay. Well, thanks for that,
Well, you guys, I gotta jump off for my other meeting, but I just want to let you know that I just updated in the futures chat the fully up to date rules and narrative that I follow.
Perfect. I
Cool.
opened that one.
Yeah, the one that I sent before was kind of old. This last one has the stuff that I really look at for my setup these days. It's very similar, just a couple of updates.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, great meeting you guys. I'll see y'all very soon.
For sure.
Have a nice
See you
weekend.
guys next
Bye.
week. Does anybody need a recap or Anybody else have recaps?
I
Ricky
would love to
Bobby.
see a recap from Pete the Cat. I don't know when he's gonna do a recap. I would love to see some of his trade.
Maybe next week. Well, I
Maybe
mean,
next week.
yeah, you've seen the $2 trade, yeah?
I want to see the recap of that one.
That was one micro. And the thing is,
Oh,
I can
man.
see all I need is 75 cents. And that was $1.25. But if I close it as market, it will go to zero. So it has to hit my
Oh,
target of
wow.
$2.